Right now on Denver 7 News at 7 o'clock on Local 3. Don't let this morning's clear skies fool you. It's a nice sunrise, but we also have a Denver 7 weather action day as heavy rain could cause flooding in parts of the metro this afternoon. What's being done to make sure this doesn't happen again to drivers along the Central 70 project?
Well, more Colorado students are feeling those back-to-school jitters this morning.
Oftentimes it boils down to acceptance, right? You're going into a new environment when you're starting school.
Now, I sit down with a counselor to ask about the right and wrong things to say to your kids to help them through that back-to-school anxiety.
And the Broncos are off to a good start.
That's a big way to win a game, PK.
Coach Nathaniel Hackett is fired up how the team is now preparing for their second preseason game.
Hey, one down. That's always nice. Good to start that way. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Brady.
And I'm Brian Sanders. We want to make sure you pack the umbrella and have the windshield wipers working because Lisa joins us as we'll see some afternoon storms already looking kind of gray out there.
It is, yeah. And you look from our Westminster camera up into the foothills, northern Front Range Mountains, some darker skies there. It's a Denver 7 weather action day due to that potential for some flooding. We're seeing a few showers starting to develop in the northern Front Range Mountains here, mainly some cloud cover out west. It's dry in Denver right now, but take a look at our alerts. We do have a flash flood watch near some of the burn scars out west. And then here in the darker green, that's going to be a flood watch, an aerial flood watch in effect until late tonight. So some heavier areas of rain possible during the evening commute, and it's going to likely develop right around 1 to about 2 o'clock this afternoon. By that point, we'll be in the low to mid 80s. It'll get a lot cooler once those showers roll through. And you're going to see here on Futurecast, I'll show you that the chance for rain both today and tomorrow. It does get warmer and drier, Jason, later in the week.
They just called out a crash over in Lakewood, over on West Colfax, over by Pierce, or by the Winchell's and by Casa Bonita. This is over in Glenwood Canyon. Yesterday, we had the highway closed down, I-70, for about 4 hours. It could be the case today. We have that watch that could turn into a warning, and if that happens, then we could see I-70 here in Glenwood closed down later this afternoon. Right now, the drive here in Metro Denver doesn't look too bad. We have one lane of northbound Federal restricted because of an overnight fire that you'll hear about in a little bit, but no delays for us coming up between Yale and Evans. The rest of the drive doesn't look too bad for you here this morning. A little slow in certain pockets, very typical stuff for us, including here on I-70, where again, we could be watching out for some water collecting on the highway. I don't think we're going to see flooding like we did last time, but you can see right now some of the slower traffic on I-70 heading through that lowered section.
And with more rain on the way expected today, we do not want to see this again. We showed you the heavy rain last week that flooded the Central 70 project. Some people were able to make it through, others were stranded, and some of the smallest family members had to be rescued. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us this morning with how the contractor there is trying to make sure the pumps turn on when they're supposed to this time.
Brian, they are keeping a close eye on those water pumps, especially when we have weather events. And this morning, traffic is starting to pick up here on I-70 as people are making their way to work and school this morning. Just a week ago, this was looking a lot different after it was hit by heavy rain, and several people, including kids, had to be rescued from those flood waters. Now CDOT is working to prevent that from happening again, so they are monitoring those water pumps. Their Central 70 project contractor, Kiewit, is still looking into what happened. A spokesperson said that it does appear that the drainage pumps did not turn on automatically and had to be manually turned on when those cars got stuck last weekend. So now they're monitoring that 24/7 as they continue to investigate whether or not there was a malfunction. Kiewit says that they've done extensive testing that shows that the drainage pump and the backup system are fully operational, but until that investigation is done, whenever we see wet weather, there is a new protocol and staff will be on site at those pump stations to make sure that the interstate is draining properly. The final investigation and results will be ready by the end of the month. And Kiewit says that they've already taken several steps to make sure that those pumps are working properly. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
We are following some breaking news this morning. A Denver firefighter is recovering after a fire that sparked up in a construction zone off Federal and Vassar overnight. Denver Fire sent us these pictures. It said the building was vacant, but as you can see, it was pretty much engulfed by flames. And the aftermath here shows not much left at all there. Investigators are still working to determine a cause.
Also this morning, Greeley police still need your help looking for the person who shot into a crowded bar over the weekend. The shooting happened Saturday night in Greeley at the Rancho El Corazon bar. Police say a masked gunman pulled up, stepped out of the vehicle and fired multiple rounds into the crowd standing outside. 2 people were shot but are expected to survive. Greeley police have not released a description of the suspect or the vehicle, but if you have any information that can help them, give them a call. Students in Gilpin County will not be going to school today because of a threat made on social media. It was posted over the weekend, and the sheriff's office says it has identified the student responsible for it. They are suspended during the investigation. The district canceled class today, though, out of an abundance of caution.
Well, it's the first day of school for a lot more students across the metro. Mapleton, Westminster, and Cherry Creek schools start today. Jeffco starts tomorrow, so this is a big week for kids. Of course, it's also a big week for teachers, and Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us now. You talked to some teachers who are super enthusiastic to be in school because it's their first year.
They are very excited. Like you said, it is their first year as full-time classroom teachers. And these are 2 teachers who say they were, they decided to become instructors because of the time that they had in school themselves. We spoke to one of those instructors. He's going to be a 2nd grade teacher who told us that his dad was a teacher, and he also wanted to do it because it helps represent some of those students that he's hopefully going to have in his own classroom.
There's just a different level of comfortability with him in the room and trust, and I just wanted to be able to do the same thing. I never had a black teacher growing up, and I didn't have any males in elementary school, and so I kind of wanted to break that mold.
Will, who you just heard from there, he's going to be teaching over at East Ridge Elementary, as you can imagine. Not the only first-time teacher in the district, Jordan Walton. She's also going to be teaching those very little ones over at Buffalo Trail Elementary. She's going to be with students who have special needs, a job she says she knew was for her since she was in high school.
I've been waiting for this moment since I entered the program, my teaching preparation program. And I think I'm just most excited, to be with my kids. I was fortunate to land my first job at the school I student taught at, so I already know the schools.
So I spoke with Jordan and Will about a week and a half ago. At the time, they were just really excited to get into their classrooms, start setting up and prepping for their students, meet some parents as well. Today, they're just excited to finally meet their group of students. We're live in Aurora this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
All right, Veronica. Well, the teachers may be a little nervous. The kids, we know, have those butterflies in their stomachs heading back. So I sat down with Dr. Steve Carlton. He said back to school anxiety is totally normal, but if you notice a change in your kid's mood or anxiety that persists for weeks, it could be a sign of something bigger.
Sleep disturbance is another big one. Diet issues and GI types of issues are common. I think as kids get older and sort of more aware of their emotional well-being, when you get into adolescent years, then you start seeing more acting out.
What would be the best way to handle this? I guess my inclination as a parent would be to think, well, it's just the back to school nerves.
I think it's a good idea for parents to set some type of routine with a check-in, right? In my house, we do a high-low buffalo, and we don't do it every day, but we have our kids talk about sort of what was your favorite moment from the day, what was your low moment from the day, and what's one thing you're looking forward to. And I think if you have that kind of routine and framework for talking, that can also be really helpful longitudinally.
He reiterated, don't minimize your kids' worries, even if they seem like just normal back to school jitters. Validate their emotions and help them talk about it.
I'm John Matarese. Grocery bills going through the roof. I'll show you how meal planning can save you time and a lot of money. That story coming up.
And dining with Demogorgons, where you can check out the Stranger Things themed cafe transporting customers to the Upside Down.